Devils 22, Hull FC 20, the final game of round number 16 in the Betfred Super League. And we very nearly got a third golden point. Quite incredible. A great game this on a Sunday afternoon. This is Sunday Rugby League. Absolutely superb every single week. They really did serve up a treat for us, didn't they? It was a real grind. No Nene McDonald, no Tim Lafai. I think that really told in this one for the Salford Red Devils. They'll be concerned going to Catalan Dragons next week if those two are not back. As for Hull FC, they continue to improve. You have to say it. They really do. You know, another sparkling performance in the front row by Herman Sasa, the best forward on the field by a country mile. Logan Moy, outstanding at fullback for Hull FC. He really is getting better and better as the young man. For me, the best moments in this game for Hull FC was when Logan was on the ball. Yes, okay, you know, he got found out a couple of times in terms of, you know, crossing and the rest of it, and in really good positions for Hull FC. And on a different day, perhaps, when that doesn't happen, it could have been a better product at the end for Logan. But that shouldn't take away from the fact that this is a young man learning his craft, doing really well in the fullback position, really good as well with ball in hand, really enjoying Logan Moy and Denis Balfour. Before when Houghton went off, the game changed. For me, I didn't understand why Balfour didn't start. I have to say that. I think Houghton's a very lucky man at the moment to still get picked over Denis. I know there's an interchange and all of that, but Denis, for me, he is the better of the two. He looked far more sharp and far more dangerous with Denis Balfour in the team. I thought Carlos Tumavari as well for FC was very, very good indeed. You know, had his injury problems, but he showed his quality in this game. Some of his touches, he didn't have many, but the ones that he did have were real quality and assured 5 tackleables for him, 13 carries, 77 metres. Very, very good. 22 tackles indeed as well. Had a really good game, did Carlos Tumavari. As for the Salford Red Devils, well, they'll be delighted, of course. Mark Sneyd continues to get all the plaudits, but, yes, he kicked the goals and, he made a try, but the bottom line was a lot of those were gimmies, weren't they, for a player with the pedigree with the boot of Mark Sneyd. So for me, at times, you've got to look past Mark Sneyd in terms of what allowed Salford this win. And I think there was some really good performances in there for the Salford Red Devils, none more so than the returning Ryan Briley, who for me was man of the match. A try, an assist, 17 carries, 163 metres, 3 tackleables, 3 clean breaks. What more do you want? I mean, that for me, on its own there, deserving of a man of the match performance. Outstanding performance from Ryan Briley back in the fold. Of course, Hankinson shifted into centre. I mean, Chris Hankinson has been a real revelation for me, a real astute signing from Paul Rowley this season. He's played a multitude of positions. That's why he was brought in, and he let nobody down in that centre position on Sunday afternoon. A nice try taken from him. He's really assured in defence. He does his bit in there. Just real quality player. Like I say, I like the fact that he's versatile, and he really does go 9 out of 10 most weeks. So well done to Chris Hankinson. He gets a point off me this week. And the 2 points I'm going to have to give to Herman Sasa. Herman Sasa is just quite simply unplayable. 19 tackles in defence, 11 tackle busts in this game. I mean, it's just unbelievable. 21 carries, 139 metres. Herman is on fire for FC. There's no doubt about that. Big games for both teams now coming up next week. The Catalan Dragons away for Salford. That's a massive game for both teams. Totally and utterly neck and neck, right together there in the table. No quarter will be given in that one in Perpignan. And of course, the Hull derby. I mean, it's fair to say that FC have not performed, have they, in either of those derbies this year. They are going to be going into this one in a lot better form. KR cannot afford to take this one for granted. Perhaps the loss to the Catalan Dragons will galvanise the Robins going into this. That could be bad news for FC. But what FC are going to have to do in this game is sort the penalties out. It was the penalties that did them in this game. There's no question. 7 penalties they conceded in this game. And when you consider that their opposition only conceded 3, and most of those penalties, or quite a few of them, led to 2 points courtesy of Mark Sneyd's boot, they cannot afford to do that next week at the MKM. But I think it'll be a real partisan atmosphere down there at the MKM. Quite a real quality, hopefully a really big attendance down there from both sides. And what a wonderful moment it will be for all of those FC fans who have stayed with their team through thick and thin this season. If they could win that game against Hull KR, the final of the trilogy for this season at the MKM Stadium, it will be a wonderful, wonderful spirit and lifting of morale there at Hull FC if they could get that job done. Do you think they will? Don't know. Get in the chat. What do you make Hull FC? Do you think that they're coming? I mean, obviously, nowhere near the players, not going to be. But what we start to see is glimmers of hope. What are you making of these new young, these new, I was going to say children, these new young players that are coming through, the likes of Moy, Balmforth? Are you as excited as me at seeing them going through? Is that the future for Hull FC? Should they now be giving these lads the starting spots over the old guard and allow them to flourish? What's your thoughts on that? As for Salford, continuing to defy the odds, what are you making of Salford Red Devils this season? Another win, yeah, not a pretty win, but still a win, cementing their place in those top 6 positions. Will Salford fall? McDonald and Lafayette, they didn't look as potent, did they? If they're not there against the bigger teams, could that really catch them out going forward if they don't come back in the next few weeks? And of course, they still rely so heavily on Mark Sneed. What if something was to happen to Sneed? What do you think is going to happen with Salford? Can they hang on from now until the rest of the season? What's your thoughts on that? But that is another round of In the Sheds done and dusted. Round number 16 is in the record books. Super League Raw Weekly is back this Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. live. That's right. We're coming on an hour and a half early, 6:30 p.m. live. If you don't catch it live, then of course you can catch it later on YouTube at 8 p.m. And right now, go and download the Final Whistle podcast for round 16. Find out what myself, Steph Sale, Steve Eachus, and Dawn Kirkby, those two, of course, Team Talk members here at Super League Raw. What do we think of all the action in round number 16? You'll get that on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify. Download that today. We will be back with more In the Shed for round 17 next week. You have my absolute assurance on that. Enjoy your week, ladies and gentlemen. We're not that far away, of course. Rugby League returns on Thursday night when Warrington hosts Leeds, and I, for one, will be in attendance. We'll see you next week for more In the Sheds. Bye for now.